ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ತಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಧನಂಜಯ್ ಟ್ಯುಟೋರಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಚಾನಲ್ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಬಯಸ್ತಾ ಇಂದಿನ ಸಂಚಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ನ ಅಧಿಕಾರಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಅದರ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚಿಸ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದ ಪವರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್. So, very first, I would like to discuss about the legislative powers of the parliament. What are the legislative powers? Okay, very first is legislative powers of the parliament. What are the legislative powers of the government? In the sense here, the main functions of the parliament is to make laws. Why this parliament is being established? In the sense here, in order to make some laws, rules, it can frame laws on subjects mentioned in the central list. So what are the subjects mentioned in the central list? All these things will be made as laws by the parliament. Okay, so here the financial bills is presented only in Lok Sabha. The financial bills are presented only in Lok Sabha, guys. Okay, Lok Sabha. ಸೊ ಈ ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಏನಿದಾವೆ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗೋದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ? ಲೋಕಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದಿಸ್. ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಅದರ್ ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ decided, means the discussion and the approval by the both house. This is very much important. The other bills which I have said, the discussion and the approvals by the both houses. Both houses means Rajya Sabha upper house and the lower, from Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha, both houses. So when there is an agreement, I mean the disagreement between the houses, means Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, so regarding a bill, the president may call for the meeting, for that is called as the joint session. We don't say it as meeting, we say it as the joint session. Understood? We say it as joint session, guys. Okay, the president will call for a joint session of the parliament to resolve the matter. So after the both houses pass the bill, it's forwarded to the president. The bill will be finally forwarded to the president, guys. Okay, for the final approval, it will be forwarded to the president for his approval, and after which it becomes a law. Okay, so this is the legislature powers which are listed in the central list. The subjects which are mentioned in the central list, all these things can be made as law by the parliament. Please remember this point. Okay, so the secondly, it is legislative powers. We already discussed the legislative part. Secondly, it's an administrative powers. The administrative powers, guys. So what do you mean by administrative powers? You can ask me. So in the parliamentary system of government, as I mentioned already, India has the parliamentary system of government. Under this we have the parliament. The parliament has two houses, as Rajya Sabha and as Lok Sabha. Already we have discussed. So in such a system of government, here the prime minister and his council of ministers from the executive, the union cabinet, is accountable to the parliament. Okay, everything is accountable, everything is recorded, everything is notable here. Okay, the members of the parliament ask the ministers that the councils of the members, the council of the ministers can be part only as long as they enjoy. Understood? the trust of the parliament. Okay, that is very much clear here. Let me repeat: the council of ministers can be power. Okay, they can be in power only as long as they enjoy the trust of the parliament. Okay, so the parliament has control over the executive here. Okay, they will be under the control of executive. Okay, so if they don't have, if they are not in the favor of the parliament, if they are opposite of the parliament, anytime they can be removed from the post of minister. Okay, understood? We use a word here, what? Motion. Okay, so here the particular word should be used here as motion. Okay, motion in the sense ಅವರನ್ನ ಅಧಿಕಾರದಿಂದ ತೆರವುಗೊಳಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಅಧಿಕಾರದಿಂದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂದ ಅವರನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಹಾಕಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. So we use a word called motion here. Okay, understood? So these are all the administrative parts of the parliament. Okay, when we discuss about the parts. And thirdly, it is financial parts. It's very much important. Okay, the financial parts of the government, I mean, the parliament is here. Lok Sabha exercises total control over the financial matters of the country here. Which one? The Lok Sabha exercise, because the all the bills, the financial bills and other matters will be executed by the Lok Sabha here, isn't it? Yes. So Lok Sabha take the total control over the financial matters of the country, and the government cannot levy any tax or spend any money without control of the Lok Sabha. That is very much important. We need to remember here. Okay, so the finance will be, I mean, must be, the finance bill must be first introduced in Lok Sabha. The financial bill must be introduced in Lok Sabha. After being passed by Lok Sabha, the bill goes to Rajya Sabha for the discussion, because in order to pass a bill, the both houses approval is very much important. Only alone Lok Sabha cannot pass the bill, but the first approval is very much important. The first approval should be done by Lok Sabha, then it will be sent to the Rajya Sabha for the approval. Okay, yes, the Rajya Sabha can give the certain suggestions and the directions for that bill, certain bill. Okay, and also they delay. Okay, they also delay giving its what do we call concept. Okay, the concept to the bill for 14 days. How many days will be there? They will be having 14 days, guys. Oh, Rajya Sabha. They will be having 14 days time to approve the bill. Understood? They may delay for 14 days because they must have a deep discussion regard, because every member's opinions is very much important in order to pass a bill in Rajya Sabha. Understood? So they have got 14 days time to pass this bill, and very importantly to understand that if it does give its contest to the bill within 14 days, it is taken for granted that the Rajya Sabha was approved it. So it is then sent to the president for his approval. So these are the financial parts. What are the financial parts the parliament has? You try to understand. Okay. So these are the financial parts of the parliament, guys. And next is the judicial parts. What are the judicial parts the parliament has? In the sense, the judicial parts are, houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, the upper house and the lower house of the parliament have the authority to remove the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court through what is called impeachment. We call the motion of impeachment. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಧಿಕಾರದಿಂದ ಕೆಳಗಿಳಿಸತಕ್ಕಂತ ಅಧಿಕಾರವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದವೆ. So both houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, the parliament, the houses, the both houses of the parliament have the authority to remove the judges of the Supreme Court and High Court in the name of motion of impeachment. What do we call this? Motion of impeachment. Okay, impeachment. Motion of impeachment. In the name of motion of impeachment, okay, both houses, they can remove, they have the authority to remove the judges of Supreme Court and High Court, guys. Please try to understand this point. Okay, so they also have the powers to discuss the findings of reports related to the judiciary. Understood? So these are all the some important parts which are being given to the parliament, means for these houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. They have a special powers. ಓಕೆ, ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಧಿಕಾರಗಳು ಈ ಎರಡೂ ಮನೆಗಳು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದಾವೆ, ಮೇಲ್ಮನೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಕೆಳಮನೆ, ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಲೋಕಸಭಾ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಧಿಕಾರಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಚರ್ಚಿಸ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಟು ಅಮೆಂಡ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ ಟು ಅಮೆಂಡ್ ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್. So what's that? Let's have a discussion about that. Okay, so here both the houses of parliament, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, okay, they have the equal powers to amend. Amend means adar tiddupadi anta kariteve. Amend means what do you mean by amendment? adre tiddupadi anta karita hogtare. Understood? So for this, both the houses have the authority, power, equal power to amend the constitution. The amendment bill can be presented first in either house. Okay, please try to understand this point. However, the approval, okay, the approval of both houses is required for the amendment. It only one house approves for the amendment. If sir, the both house they disagree, okay, only one of the houses agreed, sir, the one more Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, they didn't agree for this, they disagreed. What happens here? If only one house approves for the amendment and the other does not, then the amendment cannot be carried out, then it will be stopped. Okay, so amendment of the constitution, the both houses should approval, the both houses permission is required. Without the permission of the both houses of the parliament, we cannot amend the constitution. This is the special part of the parliament here. Okay, so and why it's like that in the sense, ಯಾಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಅದರ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಗುರಿಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಮುಂದೆ ಭವಿಷ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪರಿಣಾಮಗಳನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಕೂಲಂಕುಷವಾಗಿ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಲ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ಬಿಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೇ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ ತಿದ್ದುಪಡಿಗಳನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಒಳಗೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ ಅಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಯಾವುದೇ ಮೂಲಭೂತ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾವುದೇ ತಿದ್ದುಪಡಿಗಳನ್ನಾದರೂ ಸಹ ಎರಡೂ ಸಭೆಗಳು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಲೋಕಸಭೆ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎರಡರ ಅನುಮತಿಯು ಸಹ ಅತ್ಯವಶ್ಯಕ. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಲೋಕಸಭೆ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡು ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭೆ ಒಪ್ಪಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಥವಾ ರಾಜ್ಯಸಭೆ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡು ಲೋಕಸಭೆ ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಆ ತಿದ್ದುಪಡಿಯನ್ನ ಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಔಟ್. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? ಎಸ್, ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ನೋಟ್ ಡೌನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. ಇನ್ ಸಮ್ ಕೇಸಸ್, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಕೇಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಅಪ್ರೂವಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲೀಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್. ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ these houses, the state assemblies permission is also essential in some cases, not always, not in all cases, in some cases. Okay, so it is the important parts of the parliament. So and we have some other parts of the parliament also. What are the other parts of the parliament, sir? You can ask me here. So what are the other parts of the parliament? In the sense to frame laws related to the powers and the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court and the High Court. It is also very much important part of the parliament. And secondly, are to establish one High Court for two or more states. It is left to the parliament. Yes, already we have. Okay, yeah. Next, thirdly, the in order to create the state or rename, in order to rename them, in order to create states, to rename them, or to determine the boundaries of the state, these are all left to parliament. It is one of the important parts of the parliament. Next, to discuss the reports of the committees like public services commission, public service commission, understood, and the election commission, backward classes commissions, these are all to discuss the reports. It has the authority, it has the power. Okay, next, to approve the declaration of emergencies, ತುರ್ತು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಗಳು ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಈ ತುರ್ತು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಗಳನ್ನ ಘೋಷಣೆ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತ ಅಧಿಕಾರನೂ ಸಹ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ದಿ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿ, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸೀಸ್. So we have such a kinds of emergencies in our country. So it is all left to the parliament because these authorities are given to parliament. So they have the authority powers to administrate all these things, guys. Okay, these are all the other parts of the parliament. Understood? So it's very much important. So next is union executive. Next is union executive. Let's talk about union executive here. So what is union executive, sir? What is union executive? So the executive which implements the laws framed by the union legislature, it is also implements the programs and the policies of the union government. That is very much important, the union executive. Okay, and the union executive consists of the president, prime minister, and his council of members. His council members. The union executive consists president. ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟಿವ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ president, next prime minister, okay, thirdly council of members. Okay, so here the president, please try to understand, the president is the head of the union executive. Who is the head? Who is the authority, main authority, chairperson of the union executive? In the sense, ಯಾರು ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಗಳು. Okay, the president is the head of this union, I mean executive. Okay, so the president is the head of the executive only in name. His head, though he said only in name, just for namesake. Namesake, guys. Just for namesake. ನಾಮಮಾತ್ರವಾಗಿ ಅವರು head ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ. Various the Prime Minister and his council of members from the actual executive, because every powers and controls under the Prime Minister and the council of members. ಸೊ ಹೆಸರಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಗಳು ಹೆಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಆದರೆ ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಯಾರ ಕೈಲಿ ಇರ್ತದಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಕೈಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಟಾಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ತ್ರೀ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರೀಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಓಕೆ, please try to understand the union executive which makes the big powers. Okay, so consisting the president, prime minister and the council of members. So ಯಾರು ಹೆಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ? ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ನಾಮಮಾತ್ರವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಆದರೆ ನಿಜವಾದ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಇವರುಗಳ ಕೈಲಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್, ಓಕೆ, ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ and the council of members one by one. Okay, so the president, let's talk about president. So what are the powers, what are the qualifications to become a president? Okay, president. Okay, so here actually according to article 52 of our constitution, guys, according to article 52, according to article 52 of our constitution has created the post of president. Okay, so ಇದರ ಆಧಾರವಾಗಿ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 52ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿ ಎಂಬತಕ್ಕಂತ ಒಂದು ಹುದ್ದೆಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. It is very much important. So the Indian president is the constitutional head of the country. ಯಾರು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಅಪ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೆ. He is the first citizen, ಅವನ ಮೊದಲ ನಾಗರಿಕ, ದೇಶದ ಮೊದಲ ನಾಗರಿಕ. Is the first, who is the first citizen of our country, in the sense president is the first citizen. Please try to understand. Okay, so the head of the executive and also the commander in chief of all the three armed forces. Okay, what are the three armed forces here? Army, Navy and Air Force. He is the commander in chief, head of the commander in chief, all the three forces, Army, Navy and Air Force. ಈ ಮೂರು ಮಹಾಪಡೆಗಳ ದಂಡನಾಯಕ ಯಾರು? ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಗಳು ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ. Okay, so he enjoys the highest position in the country as he is the custodian of all the executive powers of the India, of the nation. So no court of law can question his conduct and the prosecutive. Okay, nobody can question, because he is the first person. Each and every, he is the constitutional head of the nation. So everything is under his control. Okay, so what is the election procedure of the president? The election of the president, how can be selected? How can he as selected for the post of president anta nodidaga? So here the article 54 and 55 of the constitution, they stipulate the way of the president should be elected. So illi article 54 ಮತ್ತೆ 55 ಇದರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಯವರ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ the president is elected by an electoral college. The electoral college ನ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಯವರನ್ನ ಚುನಾಯಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. So the elected members of both houses of the parliament will elect him, the electoral college. All elected members of the legislative assemblies of all the states the Supreme Court judges administrates him and the oath of office ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ವಚನವನ್ನ ಯಾರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟಿನ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಧೀಶರು ಮುಖ್ಯ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಧೀಶರು ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟಿನ ಮುಖ್ಯ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಧೀಶರು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಯವರಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಮಾಣ ವಚನವನ್ನ ನೀಡ್ತಾರೆ. So his term of office is 5 years. ಇದರ ಅಧಿಕಾರಾವಧಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ 5 years ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ 5 ವರ್ಷಗಳಾಗಿರ್ತವೆ. Okay, so 5 years he is eligible for re-election also. So when he goes against the constitution, he can be removed from the office by the parliament through the motion of impeachment. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಮೋಷನ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ವಾ, ಮೋಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಪೀಚ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ವಿಧಾನದ ರೂಪವಾಗಿ ಅವರನ್ನ ಅಧಿಕಾರದಿಂದ ಕೆಳಗಿಳಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಇಫ್ ಹಿ ಗೋಸ್ against the constitution, against the law, because everyone is equal before the law alwa, constitutional law alwa. Yes. So sir, suppose one more important thing I would like to say, sir, he is elected by the electoral college by the members of the both houses of the parliament, you said, and who will give the oath to the president in the sense supreme court judge, you said. ಯಾರು ಸರ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್ ಅವರು? he should give to the vice president. Okay, ಉಪರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಇವರು ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. Understood? Yes sir. You have used a word that the motion of impeachment, you said. What is it? The president is a fundamental part of the parliament and also the protector of the constitution here. Please try to understand. So he has to ensure that no one violates the constitution because it's his responsibility, guys. It is his responsibility. Understood? So because of that we need to understand the main, if the president himself violates then he must be removed, right? As a protector, if he go through the wrong way, in the sense what can we do, what we must do, obviously we should go through this motion of impeachment. ಅವರನ್ನು ಅಧಿಕಾರದಿಂದ ಕೆಳಗಿಳಿಸಲಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. Please try to understand. So next, what are the qualifications are required to become the president? In the sense he should be a citizen of India, he should have completed the age of 35 years. 35 ವರ್ಷ, he should be 35 years old. Understood? Yes, he should be qualified for the election of a member of the Lok Sabha. ಅರ್ಹತೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. he should not be hold of any office of profit under the government. ಯಾವುದೇ ಲಾಭ ತರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಹುದ್ದೆಗಳನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರಬಾರದು ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು. Okay, so these are the qualifications required to become the president. And what are the powers of president, sir? ಅಧಿಕಾರಗಳೇನು ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಸೇಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟಿವ್ powers, legislative powers, judicial powers, financial powers, military powers, emergency powers he has. Understood? Please try to understand. And here very importantly I would like to discuss about the executive, legislative, judicial, financial, military and the emergency powers because they are very much important here. Okay, let's talk about one by one. The powers of the president. What are the powers of the president in the sense? Very first is executive powers. What are the executive powers of the president in the sense here? The executive powers, the whole administration is carried out in the name of the president here. That is very much important. The president appoints the prime minister and on his recommendation appoints The other ministers will be appointed. The president has the powers to appoint the persons to high post like attorney general, ಇವ್ರನ್ನ okay, and comptroller and the auditor general, uh, the judges of Supreme Court. All these authorities are given to the president. All high posts are selected and appointed by the president. Please try to understand. And the judges of Supreme Court and High Courts and the governors, chairmen, okay, and the members of the Financial Commission, the Finance Commissions, the commissioners, commanders in chief of the three armed forces, because he is the head of the commander in chiefs of all the three forces. He is the head. So all the commanders in chiefs are selected by the president. Okay, these are all the executive powers of the president, guys. Is that clear? So secondly, that is legislative powers. The in the sense the president has the power to summon the parliament or here to postpone its sessions. He has this special power actually. Who president? He may also address a joint sitting of the both houses in order to dissolve Lok Sabha. Is that clear? Yes. So next, he may also address a joint sitting of both houses or to dissolve Lok Sabha. A bill passed by both the houses of parliaments becomes an act only after receiving the approval by the president. That is very much important, and the president may either re-examine such bills. He has the authority to re-examine. ಅದನ್ನ ಕೂಲಂಕಷವಾಗಿ ಮರುಪರಿಶೀಲನೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಯಾರಿಗಪ್ಪ ಇದೆ? ಓಕೆ, ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಅವರ ಸ್ವಾರ್ಥಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮರುಪರಿಶೀಲನೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ಕೊಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ part of the president. Okay, and he may also nominate two Anglo-Indians to the Lok Sabha. Already I have told you guys. Okay, we have 545 members seats in the Lok Sabha. Okay, the 543 are there. They'll be elected by the people. Yes or no? These two seats are elected by the president. Two Anglo-Indians. They will be selected by the president. Already I have told you in the last class, isn't it? He has all these the legislative powers given to the president. And what are the judicial powers? In judicial powers, something, right? Let's talk about the judicial parts of the president. Judicial powers of the president here. Here, when we talk about the judicial powers, the president has the power to what do we call, reduce the term. In order to reduce the term of the imprisonment, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಖೈದಿಗಳ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಒನ್ಸ್ ದ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ಸ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಕಾಲಾವಧಿಯನ್ನ ಶಿಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂತ ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ಷಮಿಸಬಹುದಾದಂತಹ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಯಾರಿಗಿದೆಯಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಗಳಿರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್, ದೆನ್ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರ ಸರ್? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಓಕೆ, he will examine what had happened actually. Okay, they'll examine, then only they can, or else no, you can't escape. Understood? So, and they cancel the capital punishment, andre marana dandane. Capital punishment is ನೇಣು ಏರಿಸ್ತಾರಲ್ವಾ, that is called as capital punishment. What do you mean by capital punishment? Capital ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮರಣದಂಡನೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಮರಣದಂಡನೆ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಯಾರಿಗಿದೆ? ಪ್ರೆಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂಡರ್ ಜುಡಿಷಿಯಲ್ powers. Okay, so next the financial powers of the president. What are the financial powers of the president here? The financial powers of the president, a finance bill cannot be introduced in Lok Sabha without the permission of the president. His presence, his permission, his approval is very much important. It is only after the president grants the permission, then the reports of the finance commissions and the comptroller, means and the auditor general, okay, are discussed in parliament. Unless, I mean, until he permit, this cannot be discussed in the parliament, guys. Okay, so his approval is very much important for the financial bills. Whose approval is important? President's approval is very much important. Okay, yeah. Next is military powers. What are the military powers? In the sense, the military powers, in the sense, as I already mentioned, the president is the commander in chief of the armed forces. He appoints the chiefs of the army, army, navy, and air forces. All the commanders will be selected or appointed by the president. Okay, and very importantly, to say that the recommendation of the union cabinet, and he also declares war and the peace on the recommendation of the parliament. Everything, these are all the military powers which are specially given to the president here. Okay, these are all the military powers. Next, a very important concept, that is emergency powers. Turtu parasthitigalu, what we call in Kannada. Okay, so emergency powers. Emergency powers. What are the emergency powers given to the president ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ the president, okay, very importantly to remember, the president has the special power to declare the emergencies in the uncertain situations. Uncertain situations, very important. So this is explained, I mean explained, okay, or it is discussed, be explained under the article 352 and article 360. Okay, in the 18th part of the constitution, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದ 18ನೇ ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ, ಸಂವಿಧಾನ ಅಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ 18ನೇ ಭಾಗದ ಅಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಸೊ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 352 ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 360 ಏನಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ಇವು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾವಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಈ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿಗಳನ್ನ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಗೆ ಇವೆ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಹೇಳ್ತವೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ borrowed from the government of India Act 1935, the Indian Government Act of 1935, Indian Government Act of 1935 is explained here. Okay, the effects of emergency on the fundamental rights and their management is completely left to president, and it is borrowed from the constitution of Germany. Actually, these emergencies are borrowed, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಎರವಲು ಪಡೆಯಲಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, the ಜರ್ಮನಿಯ ಸಂವಿಧಾನದಿಂದ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಜರ್ಮನಿ. ಓಕೆ, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೋರೋಡ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎರವಲನ್ನ ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಬೋರೋಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಜರ್ಮನಿ. Very important thing it is, understood. So you may get a question. So the national emergencies are borrowed from dash: America, France, China, Germany. Which is your answer? Your answer should be Germany, because we have borrowed the emergencies from the constitution of Germany. Okay, so it is based on the written recommendation of the Union Cabinet, and the President can declare the emergencies in the three occasions here as a national emergency. National emergency na Article 352 prakara heltare. Okay, we have three kinds of emergencies here. So one is national emergency under the article of 352. So the emergencies. The emergencies. Very first is national emergency. Under the article 352 guys. Okay, that is very much important. Second one is state emergency. Under article 356. Article 356. Okay, next thirdly, financial emergency. Under article 360. Okay, that's what I said. Article 352 to 360, they tell us about the emergencies and in the constitution. The 18th part of the constitution, the 18th part of the constitution, article 2 to 360, they tell us about the emergencies. Okay, so these are all the special parts which are being given to the president. Okay, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ರಾಷ್ಟ್ರಪತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಅಧಿಕಾರಗಳು ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ. Okay, and very importantly, next the directory. Okay, so before I go for that, I would like to give some more information about the national emergency and state emergency and the financial emergencies here. Okay, so as I mentioned that ಈ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ನ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಕೋನದಿಂದ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹುಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ and about the presidents, it is also very much important about the president. Who is the first president here? Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Understood? In the term of 1952 to 1962. 1952 to 1962. Yes, yeah. So these are all some special parts which are given to the first citizen of India, Prime Minister. Okay, yeah. Next, the discretionary parts, some additional parts of the president. Discretionary parts in the sense here, the president can exercise the certain parts without waiting for the approval for the Union Cabinet. Okay, only himself he can decide. So what they are, in the sense he may invite the leader of the party to form the government when no single party has got a majority after the election. ಯಾರನ್ನಾದ್ರೂ ಕರೆದು ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಗವರ್ನಮೆಂಟ್ ರನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. He has this special power. That is what we call discretionary powers ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ. Okay, Secondly, so when the parliament approves a bill and sends to it him for the approval, he may return the bill for the reconsideration, because it is he has that power. Okay, and thirdly, he may dissolve the Lok Sabha also. He has this special powers. These are all the discretionary powers of the president, guys. Please do remember this. Okay, yeah. So uh, in this session, we have completely discussed about the union executive and the powers of the parliament and the union, the formation of the union executive, and about the president we have discussed in this session, guys. Okay, so our next, I would like to discuss about prime minister and the councils of the members. That will be discussed in the next session, guys. Okay, so please like the video and follow us on WhatsApp, Telegram, and the Facebook. Okay, if you search for Dhananjay tutorial for success, you will get the groups, guys. Please follow us and like and share this video for your friends. Okay, thank you very much.